You've spent countless hours in the garage with your dad. Now investing in that old car and working on it with your son reminds you of him. And his legacy lives on. Fund your passion with a low-interest home equity line of credit from Bank of Blue Valley.
Stop.
You don't allow me to come in and out. I got to do props.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to make you take a class on hosting a talk show.
You don't like me coming in?
Such a dude thing to do.
I'm telling
Why can't you just be here and be present in the moment?
You know, we always have so many sports figures on the show. I feel like, I just want to be a little sporty. So like when you watch the show, a lot of football announcers will like turn to the TV when they get announced.
Oh, so it's your sporty side?
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta mesh the fire that you throw out there with the boringness of sports guys like me.
I was sporty today. I worked out.
Yes, you did. 5 a.m. at Orange Theory. That was so cool. And after you were helping your son, who's in a starring role, that was such an amazing thing to do. I literally was shocked when I saw that post. It was a post that Bank of Blue Valley and Burns and Mac would be really proud of, that, you do it all. You're a super mom.
You're so good at product placement. You always throw in the sponsors. And even if it doesn't really go in the sentence, you just throw it in there. Yeah, I feel like if you were like American Idol guy, you know how they hold the Coke? You'd be like, and the Coke, right?
Yeah.
That would be who you were.
This product that's really not healthy for you, I'm going to pitch it. But the health of Burns and Mac and Bank of Blue Valley and what they do in building the community and their hiring. And then also the Burns McDonnell question of the day is from our boss. We always call any sponsor our boss. I don't want to give away who the Burns and Mac question of the day is, but they're our bosses. We have to do what they tell us to do, and we have to take them to happy hours.
Okay, so here's the deal. I need everybody to tell us, are you watching on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube? Let us know. Start networking over here. We have a great panel today. I'm really excited about our panel.
It's, I'd say, hopefully none of the other panelists are watching, but it's been a while since we've had like 4 big names on the panel, so it's kind of cool.
Right. No, it's a really great panel. And then the other thing I wanted to say is I know a lot of people message me, and I know they message you, and they often say, hey, when are you guys going out? When are you guys having an event? When are you guys hanging out together? And I just want everybody to watch. We are going to do a fundraiser very soon together. So
that's right. So. Yeah. We're I'm paying for the booze and you're bringing the entertainment.
Exactly. So we're going to do a fundraiser for my favorite nonprofit, First Act KC, which is my kids' theater troupe. It's a nonprofit that actually has the biggest, a lot of the money goes to providing theater resources for kids that have disabilities. So it's absolutely awesome. So if you are interested in joining Scott and I for a fun happy hour fundraiser, shoot us a message or comment over here, and we will get you on the invite list. All right, enough about us. Let's bring in our panel. Nobody wants to hear us talk. How's that sound?
You got to pump the sponsors. It's the puff talk before the real stuff.
I know, but I feel like
people are here for the panel.
Nobody's here for you and I.
Nope.
We're here because Bank of Blue Valley and Renze McDonnell make it possible, but they're here for the
That's a plug.
And this amazing music that you make today. All right, here we go, ladies first. We're traveling all week together. Next week, Jennifer.
Good afternoon.
Sarah. Ray and Kyle. I have to do it so fast because this thing covers your face. Look at this. We've got Paul Fogel, loyally watching on LinkedIn. And Terry says, hello, he's on LinkedIn. Keep letting us know where you're watching from. Our Facebook audience has been growing. So if you're watching on Facebook, let us know. All my LinkedIn people, let us know. And we're just going to jump into it. Hi, Jennifer.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
Who are you? What do you do? And how did you get to Kansas City?
Okay, so Jennifer Katrulya, I am a partner at Citrin Cooperman, top 20 accounting and advisory firm. I first showed up in Kansas City in 2014 when I was invited to co-found the small business division at H&R Block. And at the time said I would never, ever leave my family and friends in New York or Connecticut to love Kansas City. But it didn't take long for it to grow on me. And now that I consider my life base. So
Jennifer, you also do a lot of work with family offices around the country and connecting people within Citrin Cooperman. So typically, what does your schedule look like if you're on the East Coast, and what does it look like if you're on the West Coast?
Scott's so good at this. Thank you. So I do work primarily with family offices, private equity, and mid-market high growth companies. And I have a client, for example, who's considered one of the top family office communities in the country. And as part of that role and as part of national development for Citrin Cooperman, I typically am on the road about 3 weeks of the month. And then there's what I'll call a wild card week, which I never know exactly where that one will put me. And so next week, for example, I'll leave it to Aaron to tell about next week. But yeah, spend much of the month on the road and consider it very lucky.
You can tell them where we're going to be.
We would. Yeah, and then also
next week we'll be at the Phoenix Open. Sorry.
Yeah, give your family office schedule and share with where you and Aaron will be next week.
All right. So family office schedule is next week will take us to the Phoenix Open and watch party or attendance at the Super Bowl, depending on a guest preference. And then the week after that, I'll be back in Kansas City, followed by an event on the 19th of February in Beverly Hills. And that will be a brunch and auction at Daphne Edward Zimon's house for anybody who's familiar with her. And then the following week, New York City on the 21st and 3rd, 21st and 23rd. The 23rd is a collaborative family office event with ACG New York. And then it begins again going into March. So it rolls typically between Kansas City, Beverly Hills, New York, and then again, a wild card week that can put me anywhere. So But definitely fun. Chicago, Austin, Miami are cities that are on the list, and we'll be adding more.
So when you got started in the business before H&R Block, what was the company and the business that you sold, and give the audience a little bit about why it was pioneering in the industry?
So I founded it was a CPA firm, but it was a firm specifically dedicated to outsourced accounting, outsourced staffing, technology consulting. And it was considered one of the first, if not the first, it was called the pioneer firm for an outsourced accounting model with clients across the country, and also remote staff when that was kind of a newer thing. It was right as PC Anywhere was kind of dying out, and GoToMeeting was just kind of coming up, but it was considered very unusual. We were still shipping UPS packages around the country to get documents routed and to work remotely. And it was considered the early stage of building a model that was standardized to be able to do that with clients. And ultimately, I sold that firm when I was asked to teach it to the American Institute of CPAs asked me if I would lead the founding writing and training to teach that to other firms nationally. And so that started year-round travel for about 3 years.
Wow.
So it's been a ride. It's been fun.
Where's your favorite place to travel to? Since you travel so much, where's your favorite place?
I tend to be a beach person. So I love certainly Caymans or other, if it's US, I love Sedona, Arizona actually is among my favorites. I think it's beautiful. Colorado, you can't argue. So if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be someplace in Colorado.
You started out with a beach person and you ended at Colorado.
Because I actually hate the summer. I hate heat. So I say beach under very specific circumstances, nothing to do other than be on the beach. If I had to move, I would choose cooler in Colorado.
I like that. Awesome. Well, thank you for coming back on. All of our guests have been on this show more than 2 years ago. You guys were all guests. So this is really fun. Not at all at the same time, though. So this is really fun. today to see how far everybody's come and what you've done and changed in your careers. So, all right, Miss Tara, who are you and what do you do and how did you get to Kansas City?
Hi, I'm Tara Renze. I am an author. I am a keynote speaker and I am an emotional and positive intelligence practitioner. So I have been on the road myself over the last several months, just facilitating different workshops, doing keynotes, all around being who you came to be, creating, owning, and living the life that you deserve and desire by elevating your positive intelligence and activating your emotional intelligence. So that's what I have been up to, everything from women's events to sales kickoffs, real estate conventions, women food service workshops and leadership. So pretty much everywhere. I've been to some of the cities you were just talking about as well, and glad to be here in Kansas City. I actually have been in KC half my life. So you can guess how long that is. But half my life, I went to the University of Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. We're pulling for our Hawks tonight. Let's go. And I've been here ever since. My husband actually, to plug Burns and McDonnell here, he his first job out of college, he was a chemical engineer who went to work at Burns and Mac.
Wow.
That's a great plug. So I'll do the boring part and then Aaron will get to the fun part. But you had a lot of success early on in your business career. So get everyone from the start of the companies that you worked for that you helped scale, and then going into your speaking. And I'm sure Aaron will have a ton of questions on that. But give the business nerds out there the upstart.
Okay. So I worked in the corporate arena for 10 years and I started in sales and then I moved into sales leadership. I actually was with careerbuilder.com for those of you back that lived through the job board days where that was the place to go. Replaced when I first entered the workforce, I actually faxed the first job I got, I faxed my resume through. I remember it would go through and you'd be like, I think it went through. And then you'd wait for the receipt and it made all terrible sounds. And then you just kind of sat around and waited to hear back. So I was an early adapter with careerbuilder.com, went on to run a couple of their sales offices, moved into doing sales consulting and training for them. I ran their entire training division, training new sales reps through the curriculum, full of kids. And at that point in time, I was a total road warrior. I was on the road, 3 nights a week, just through different cities that we had presence and had sales offices in. So I definitely wanted a shift and to be more present with my children when they were little. So I moved into a home-based business role, working direct to home office for a company called Stella and Dot, and helped them build out the Midwest with independent stylists and reps across the country. And it was during that time I just kept feeling more and more called to start my own business and to help people be who they came to be, which was actually a note that my 87-year-old grandmother had left for my infant son before she died. And the last sentence that she left him was, "Be who you came to be, love will guide you." And it became such a heart calling. And the more people I talk to in business, the more people that I talk to in life, as the years go by, we start to feel astray. We start to wonder who we are and who did we come to be and how do we reinvent ourselves and how do we take risk and change and evolve through our life. And so that's when I got licensed in emotional intelligence and positive intelligence, because I really believe that we can create, own, and live the life that we deserve and desire. But it's really about elevating those two things so that we can show up as the best version of ourselves. So that's what I've been up to. I published a book during the pandemic. I'm so proud to say that my mom and I just published our children's book version of Be Who You Came to Be. It's about a little bee named Phoebe who goes on a journey of self-awareness and discovery. And my mom was an early childhood educator, always her life goal to write a children's book. And it was always my life goal to take this book that I wrote and make it into a children's book. So we collaborated together, and you know what? It should be arriving at my door any minute. And it's available for pre-order. It's really cute. I just have to plug because my mom's such a genius. We did a little sticker book, as well as it has then the little map that Phoebe gets to go on, for her adventure. So it's really fun, a darling story. And I'm just so proud of this children's book.
Huge congratulations. I know Aaron's got a question, but please put that in the comment section so people can purchase.
For sure. The speaking piece obviously is what I relate to, right? What is your current keynote? And I always feel like whenever I finally nail my keynote, I'm ready for my next one. Like I'm starting to think this is the next keynote I'm going to do. What's your current keynote and where do you see your next keynote going?
So my current keynote, the one that I wrote everything on is called Be Who You Came to Be, Create, Owning, and Living the Life That You Deserve and Desire. But it's really morphed into a lot of different things from, women's events to leadership. And the one that I am just getting booked on left and right this year is Get Mentally Fit and the Leader That You Came to Be. And so it really takes a deep dive into positive intelligence, which is a theory that Shirzad Shamin created to really help us elevate our emotional intelligence. And it's about understanding how we self-sabotage and how that keeps us back from leveling up our life and leveling up our success. So it comes with an assessment. You guys can actually all go take the assessment. It's a free assessment. I can drop it in the chat here after I'm done. It's really a curious concept. People love how it shows up. It works great in workshops, team development. And, it kind of just shines light on the fact that we're all human. And for me, I'm a hyperachiever pleaser are my two saboteurs, which you might think don't saboteur you, but when you're a super hyperachiever and a super pleaser, you know that sometimes things can go too far and it causes us to feel like we're not enough, or the hyperachiever will make you feel like you have imposter syndrome, or why should you be doing this, or you're not doing enough or achieving at a high enough level. So it's a really curious concept. Companies are loving it, teams are loving it, sales orgs are loving it, and it's a really fun and relatable concept that people can then go put to work instantly.
I love it. Okay, drop that link in there. We're going on,
Okay.
Scott. Drop that link in there, and then I need to take it. Is all I'm saying. I need to.
That's going to be a pleaser for sure.
I need to see why I'm so self-destructive. Please put it in there. Okay, awesome. I can't wait to take it. Frank, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Frank White III. I'm the president and CEO of the Kansas City Area Transportation Authority. And I came to Kansas City through my mother in 1969. So
Frank, why did you wait to book Drinks with Leaders to give us the big announcement of being promoted to CEO and president? I'm joking, but can you kind of back us through your timeline of coming to the organization that you're now president and CEO of, and the work that you've done in the city?
This is not the same job you had last time.
No.
Yeah. But in general, like what you've accomplished is amazing. I want to spend more time on your background, but what you've accomplished in Kansas City is something everyone's a huge fan. So back us up.
Thank you.
When you started what we do today.
I came to ATA in March 2016. I came on board as the chief marketing officer. So I did that for a couple of years. Won 3 AdWill Awards, our national awards for marketing. Then got pulled out of that into what we call business development. Because the theory was for our former CEO that transportation is really about economic development and business growth and regional growth. So my job was to go out there and try to look for what we call P3 projects, public-private partnership projects, tying business and transit together. Did that for a year and a half, and then I got tasked to go build a separate company within the ATA, economic development company called Riot KC Development Corporation, where I did that for 4 years. We probably got done over $1 billion of different projects, what we call TOD or Transit Development Projects. Then 6 months ago, our CEO left the company, and then I was asked to step in as the interim 6 months ago. And then last Wednesday on the 25th, I was made permanent CEO by the board. So that's a quick, fast, and dirty of what I've done at the ATA the last 7 years. So,
I have a quick question because this always fascinates me. And I'm just going to tell you, I've never worked in nonprofit. I've never worked in corporate. I'm a total girl that has to be her own boss. Okay. But this always fascinates me when people take interim jobs and then have to wait and see. And sometimes they have to watch other people get interviewed. And I feel like that takes an incredible amount of emotional intelligence to take the interim job. So when you took the interim job, what was your immediate reaction? And then did you have to watch and see and wait, or did you kind of already know?
I was annoyed that I was interim.
That's what I feel like.
But I knew once I got in the seat, no one was getting it. So when I got my card made, nothing said interim. When I hired my staff, nothing said interim. Email, it said President CEO. Card said President CEO. When I spoke, I made them make sure they said President CEO. I just assumed the job. They were going to do a national search. initially, but about a month in, I realized, you know what, we're going to suspend this search for a year because they liked the direction I was going. And then they're like, hey, we want to negotiate a contract, make the permanent CEO. So, I mean,
you're like, I already am, guys.
I made the assumptive close. I was like, you brought me here. Why would I want to give it up, right? So why do all the work and everything for some other joker to come in and take the credit for it? So no, man, it didn't really stress me out because they never interviewed because I made sure they wouldn't do any interviews. I had to be better, right? I had to be that good that they would not want to talk to anybody else.
I like that. I think that needs to be its own like marketing piece.
You know what I mean? But I've got friends that are interns right now. I can imagine being stressful when they're interviewing people. And like my first board meeting, they brought in the search firms. And so you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, we're going to find a way to replace this guy here. And it's like, really? Really? Okay. So.
However, I do know a woman that's an interim right now. And it's she just sees it as she's in her retirement life. So she just sees it as like a favor and a fun thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it all depends on how it stays. Sometimes it's a placeholder, right? You're just there to kill time. But when I got in the role, I was like, well, this isn't really a placeholder position because there's a lot of moving parts, right? You got the draft coming this spring. You got the World Cup coming in 4 years, plus all the intermediate stuff you got to do in streetcars, all these things. So there really wasn't a way you could do it as a placeholder. You kind of had to go do it. There's a lot of stuff to fix. So.
Okay, I have one more important question
because
I've been spreading this news and I'm not 100% sure it's true, but every time I go to another city, I say this. So I just wanted to see if I'm lying to people. Is all of our public transportation free? And are we the only city that does that in America?
It's not free everywhere.
Oh.
We were the first, what I call major city to do it. So now you're seeing other cities start to take it on as well. So, we did it first on a large scale, but
it's not free everywhere.
No, not in the region. No, it's free in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay, so I'm kind of telling the truth.
Well, if you say Casey Mill, yeah. So, but we cover 7 counties on both sides of the state line. It's our service area, so it is not free everywhere.
Yeah, one quick thing. A lot of the people on this panel got their start in entry-level sales, so food for thought for audience members. And one thing that Frank's always done is he's ridden a lot of the transportation himself to understand experience and does it on a monthly basis. Now I have another Aaron question because I tell everyone eventually these streetcars is going to go up. It's going to go up Troost. Is that ever a reality that the streetcar is going to go more towards the east side?
He's not going to tell you.
No, I have no problem. No, I mean, no. If you see anything going eastbound, you're probably going to see more like high speed bus or bus rapid transit. You'll see streetcar probably will stick north south, primarily because it's expensive. And so, for example, North Kansas City did a streetcar study, and they realized, okay, it's be $222 million. And then there's federal funding where you got to match it. So it's a 50-50 match. So they don't have $100 million to match it. So the mechanism of it, how it's funded, it makes it prohibitive to go east-west because you're going to keep it free. You got to create what's called a TDD, or tax development district, or transit development district, that you tax residents or residential commercial. And once you go east of Troost, the revenue's just not there. It becomes a regressive tax. So you can't do that mechanism. You have to charge a fare. You can't charge a fare going east-west. You're not charging a fare going north-south. So it'll probably be like high-speed bus or something, nicer bus like our MAX lines or something like that. So
you're saying that Scott and I are not the best representatives for you.
No, you're fine. You're fine because the fact that you've been talking about it means you care.
Right.
So no, and in my job, my role is to get out there and tell the story and give people information. I mean, the question will probably come up, if not already, about what's going to go to the airport? Is rail to the airport, bus to the airport, all those things. We're looking at rail to the airport, but that's 10 years and $1 billion. So, but you got to start though, because in 10 years, you're still 10 years further, right? So you got to start it. So I spend the bulk of my time in DC, schlepping for cash. So I don't try as much as these ladies over here, but I was in DC for the House vote. That was interesting.
That was not a political show, Frank. Terry says, congrats to you, Frank White.
Well, Terry is my high school classmate, you know.
Terry?
Blue Springs Wildcats, 1987, you know, so.
And he says the NKC streetcar extension is long shot of best. I just want to say a quick thing, and then we're going to move on to Kyle. But I just went to a new bar. I guess it's been there for like a year on Truce the other day. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was meeting friends for the Chiefs game. And I had so much fun. So it's called Gales. And it's on like Truce and 55th, kind of over there. Okay. And it's a gay sports bar. And if you ever want to have a blast, go to a gay sports bar during a Chiefs playoff game. Okay. So anyways, it'd be great for events. Everyone that's holding events, it was huge. I was just so shocked that I hadn't heard of this amazing, really nice bar over there.
Did they have a DJ in between commercials?
No, they didn't need a DJ at this bar. It was
as long as it's fun, Aaron. As long as it's fun.
Yeah.
It was popping, guys. Go check it out. They're just gonna get so flooded with all my straight friends. All right, Kyle, who are you? What do you do, and how do you get to Kansas City?
So I am Kyle Danner, and I am what's called a professional EOS implementer, which means I work with business owners and leadership teams to get them on the same page of their vision, but bring that vision down the ground, execute on it, and build a healthy leadership team in the process. And then they take that and they roll it down into the rest of the organization. So I work with businesses anywhere from, I have a couple firms that are $1 million all the way up to $30 million in revenue, legal, staffing, construction, home service, manufacturing. So I'm really, Aaron, I'm part of a community of about 600 folks who do this worldwide. There's another 10 of us here in Kansas City that do this. And it's a proven process used by thousands of companies. So it's cool work.
So Kyle, I feel like I'm being forced to ask the boring questions. Aaron gets asked all the haymakers, but give us how you got to Kansas City and your business background to leading CEOs in different companies today.
So I born and raised in Kansas City. Grew up north of the river. Dad was an entrepreneur after he got out of the United States Marine Corps. He ran a delivery service right out of the bedroom next to mine growing up. So family and business were always one and the same for me. I joined after graduating from Rockhurst with a political science and history degree. I joined the family business as a small print shop. So I took that degree to really good use, to sweeping floors and cutting paper. But then moved into bookkeeping. It was a print shop that my brother and sister owned. We grew it to be the 5th largest printing company in Kansas City, from a couple $1 million and about a dozen or so people to over $18 million and 80 people. But about 12 years ago, that's a lot of growth. That's also a lot of change. And one of the changes is that I was no longer a fit for the business. Now I can give you the really nice PR answer and say, I just decided I turned 40, decided time for a change, and I was going to strike out on my own. But it was very much wrong person in the wrong seat, because they needed a completely different skill set than what I could bring to the table. And looking around, there were no other seats for me. So I said, it's time to break out on my own. One of the things I absolutely love is I love helping people. It is what gets me charged going every day. And so I thought, I'm going to go for a master's in counseling. I'm going to be a therapist. Now, make whatever connection you want between 17 years in a family business and decide you need to be a therapist. But halfway through, Scott, I kind of found out about this area of family business advising. And it's like, wait a minute. There are people out there that can help the family and the business work really well together, because we needed that. I know a lot of people needed that. And several friends said, you should go do that instead. And you're right. I said, you're right. I should go do that, having no idea what go do that meant. So I went out and started talking to folks. And mainly what I was doing is I was facilitating family meetings and coaching advisors on how to work with family businesses, and ended up working with around 25 or 30 different businesses. And in every one of those, what was consistently happening is that people were coming in from the outside, telling them everything that was wrong with the business. And if you're a business owner, don't you love that conversation? And so I went looking for a solution, and I came upon EOS, and I fell in love with it, because it's like, oh my gosh, I wish we had this in our business when we were growing. And been doing this for about 3.5 years now. So I do that. I also facilitate a peer group for Prairie Family Business Association, which is a family business association based out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Peer group of next generation business leaders. I also do some offhand strategic planning and meeting facilitation for either families or other organizations. But really coming down to the heart of it, what I do is I facilitate conversations, and I love it.
Okay, so two things. First, I want to get over here, and then I want to give a different point of view for everybody. But first of all, you're really popular. Isaac says, hello, all. Kyle is the man. Hi, Aaron and Scott. Second.
Hey, Isaac.
Hi,
And how do you know Terry?
Oh, my God. Terry and I met, we met in 2018 of all places in Denver, Colorado. We went through a Strength Scope, now Helios training, and we've just gotten to know each other. I'm also involved with Conscious Capitalism here in town and the Mid-America LGBT Chamber of Commerce. So I got my hand in a bunch of different things.
Have you been to Gales?
You should have Derek. Oh, my gosh, I love Gales. It's the old Mike's. It's the old Mike's on Truce.
Yeah. I just learned about Gales this weekend.
Mike's is a Rockhurst place, right?
Yeah, and I went to Rockhurst. So I'm sorry to all you KU people. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay.
But no, I went to Rockhurst. Yeah, it's the old Mike's bar. You should have Derek on the show. Derek Bachman, who
I met him this weekend.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
He's gonna really love that we're pumping up his bar so much. Okay, I do want to give a different point of view here, and I just think it's crazy that both you and Jennifer are on the same show because this is such an organic show, the way people sign up. But I just want to give you guys a different point of view because I want you guys to speak to this really quick. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I knew what the term family office meant, and now I ask lots of entrepreneurs around my level or a little bit smaller, like people that didn't come from a lot of money. I think family office is not as well termed as we're throwing around on this show, right? So what would be both, Kyle, I want you to go first, then Jennifer, you second. What would be your sentence if someone said, what does a family office mean? What does that mean?
Oh, gosh. I think it's one of those things you can make it mean whatever you want to, because it's kind of like this big catch-all. Jennifer may have something much more elegant than me, but from what I've heard is it can be a catch-all for things that will help an enterprising family manage their wealth and manage the family.
That's good. Jennifer?
That's my guess.
I think, well, and that kind of supports what you're going to say. A family office is a legal entity, so typically around 100 million in wealth, but that's not a hard number. There reaches a point where a single family or multiple families can come together and form an actual legal family office that functions similar to a company. And so that's the academic part of it. The reality is that I always consider a family office the point at which someone's family functions become a business, where they have in-house help, where they have so much going on in businesses they're invested in, or businesses they're starting, or at a size where their lives can't function without outside support, expertise, guidance. They just have they just do. Their lives are a business, and so they need that extra layer of help and support.
That's a great thing. Yeah, I only learned this a couple of years ago, and now I ask people all the time because I was like, was I the only one? And you'd be surprised at how many people, it depends where you grow up when you know terms like that. So
I really thought family office was what we were calling, our homes during the pandemic, when everyone in the family was officing from home, including our children.
That's probably the third bucket. That's
again, boring question, but the business side of the audience. Kyle, what is EOS in 30 seconds? And just to plug EOS, it's something that businesses, as they mature, the founder really grows it. But then when they want to function as a company, a lot of companies here in Kansas City utilize this, and folks like Kyle. So what is EOS?
EOS is the entrepreneurial operating system. It's based on a book by the name of Traction, Get a Grip on Your Business by Gino Wickman. Really what it is, it's a set of tools and proven concepts designed to get your leadership team on the same page of your vision, but really execute on that vision and build a healthy team in the process. One last thing, the thing I love about EOS is that people hire folks like me to move faster in their business, but you can always dip your toe in it by reading the book that tells you how to do it, and then going out to eosworldwide.com and downloading the tools and playing around with your business. I help a lot of people who are kind of self-implementing right now, and it's a great way for you to test it out and see if it's right for your business without making a big, huge commitment.
I have that book right here. I need to read it. Terry just subscribed to our YouTube. I'm a big Terry fan today. All right.
Hey, Aaron, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Tara, did you put your comments into the public chat?
No, she put it in the private. I was going to
Yeah. Oh, we're going to say that? Yeah, no, I noticed that. I do the
I'm
same thing
sorry.
all the time.
It's okay. You actually have to
We
go
want the
over
audience
the
to
link
buy
and
it.
Yes,
do it.
not just us.
All right, guess what time it is? It's the Burns and McDonnell question of the day. Da-da-da-da.
From our boss.
All right, we're going to play it. And then Jennifer, the minute that she's done speaking, our boss, Carrie, and you please answer the question and we'll just go right back around. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Carrie Plummer, and I'm Special Project Manager in Marketing at Burns & McDonnell, helping spread the word about what we do and about what makes us special. And my question for you is social media important to your business?
All right. So yes, and I would say for two primary reasons, though there are many. The first reason is because most of the time, whatever we are doing as a company is not reinventing the wheel. There are others in our same space. There are others, doing from a menu of services what we do. And I think social media is one of the few ways that you can truly differentiate yourself, build your personal and your company brand, and explain why someone would be a best fit for you, where that relationship would work better than alternatives. And so then the second reason is because when you are seeking to scale a company and you're small and want a bigger footprint, or you're growing and large and across geographies, you can't possibly win the numbers game with one handshake at a time. And so, where it used to be people would purchase mailing lists and send out letters. And, my dad for a while was in the insurance business, and we used to stuff envelopes. Now you reach people digitally, and you need to do that in large volumes to be able to ultimately connect with the people you want to do business with and you want to know. And so social media is a critical way to accomplish that piece as well.
Good job. Tara, how about you?
Yeah, social media plays definitely a big role in my business. I play in a couple different spaces, LinkedIn, Instagram, and for me, it's truly just a way of social proof, right? I'm out there, I'm making a difference. People see what I'm doing. They learn a little bit more about me as a person, what I'm putting out there, the organizations I'm working with, the difference I'm making, testimonials, everything that people put out on social. And then so much of what I do and my message is just who am I at the heart of Tara Renze. And so it's just a great way for people to get to know me for me and see if they want me to play a part in their organizational success, if I would fit in with their culture, if they think their people would like me, all those things. So I love social media. I try not to take it too seriously. Definitely keep politics and all those things out of it, and also just try to shine a lot of light on other people who are putting themselves out there, because I know it's a really vulnerable and hard thing sometimes to put ourselves out, and it can be a really negative space that's played a really, unfortunately, not a positive role in a lot of our youth. And so I think anything that we can do to keep it a safe, fun, encouraging, loving space, we do by shining a lot of light on others and celebrating them.
Frank,
It's crucial.
I'm interested in your job.
What's that?
I said, I'm really interested in your career, how social media plays into it.
Oh yeah, it's crucial what we do, because we have to be able to tell our own story, and not to pick on you two, but you're out there saying things that if we were better at it before, you might have more information to go tell the story across the country. It's important, because we've got an industry that for years has kind of been run by people who kind of came up in it. And I gave a speech 7 years ago saying that trans would be saved by non-transit people like me. Like, I had an insurance agency, so I did stuff envelopes. And so I come from a total sales rat view of this industry. And so it's all about the messaging, all about the story you're telling, and not just the one audience, but multiple audiences. So, we've got our political stakeholders, our civic stakeholders, our riders, our operators, all the different entities, the municipalities, and we have to have different metrics for different people. So it's very important, from TikTok to Instagram to LinkedIn to Facebook, whatever. Are you telling that story, and are you telling different stories with the different platforms? So for us, we have to win hearts and minds, right? Because we're funded by taxes. So it's really important that people see what we're doing with the money, showing the impact we're having on the people that use our service. If you don't use our service, you might know someone in your job may be affected by people who do need your service. So we have to talk to multiple people multiple times. So we wouldn't exist correctly without it. One thing I've tried to do in my time as a CEO is really put more resources towards the marketing, the social media piece as well.
Is the transit on the TikTok?
We are working on it. There's actually something called Bus Talk, Aaron. Yeah. So we're working on it.
I'm a big TikTok fan, Frank.
Yeah. Well, so we're doing that. We've got a deal starting this month. It's going to be called Ride KC TV, and so like a YouTube type channel. And so I'll be running around the city on buses and streetcars and scooters and different things. Just talk to the people that use our service and why they ride it, how they ride it, what they like.
You're gonna ride the electric scooters?
No, my chief of staff might do that. I might have to pass. But I've got a clause in my contract that I take an annual physical, so I don't need to be on a scooter anytime soon. But we're trying to make it somewhat fun, as well. So we're gonna try.
Bus Talk. I'm gonna go follow that.
Yeah, it's called Bus Talk.
Little Frank, that's brilliant. Little plug for Erin. I think she's the number one LinkedIn knowledgeable person in Kansas City, but also TikTok. So fun food for thought.
She is very good at what she does. So
I wish I was a TikTok star.
I thought your story today about your journey was amazing. By the way.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I'm not cool enough to be a TikTok star, but I'm working on it, and it's very embarrassing to my kids the more I practice.
Well, if you can embarrass your kids, that's even better.
This is just a tip. This is just a parenting tip that I'm going to give to all of the audience for free. If you want your kids to stay off social, just think you yourself are an influencer and post all the time, and your kids will stay so far from social media. My teenagers want nothing to do with it.
That is true.
Brilliant.
That is true.
They are not getting in any social media trouble because mom's there.
Well, they're just mad you got more followers than they do, Aaron. That's why they're mad.
Scott, so you have some time to start posting yours now.
Frank may not be TikTok rich, but he's a very wealthy man. He's put 3 girls through school, right, Frank?
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Or he was wealthy until those 3 girls went through school.
No, now he is. Now he's buying lake houses.
No, because I got a granddaughter now, so she's now redirecting my funds to her.
Oh, God.
You're awesome.
And if you have children, they never leave your pocket, right? They never leave your pocketbook. They just redirect how much they ask for, and it seems like it's more, but they never leave your pocketbook.
That's what I tell Scott. They've got the daycare and the diapers, all those things. People little, I'm like, they just get more expensive when they get older, I feel like.
Redirects.
All right, Kyle, how about you in social media?
I'm sure it could be helpful, but I'm a horrible details person.
I'm sure.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, Aaron, it's like all my other business ideas. They're amazing ideas. They're going to make me a lot of money if I ever actually do them. So I'm going to stick with what I do now and do best.
How do you do lead gen though?
I do a lot of, so I get some leads mainly through the network I've developed here in Kansas City as well as around the nation. I'm also a member of the Exit Planning Institute. I carry their designation as a CEPA, Certified Exit Planning Advisor. I'm also on their faculty, and I've spoken at their conferences before. So I've got a fairly good, well-connected network through there. And that I just kind of, it's about building relationships. I've got about a handful of 50 to 60 people that I really spend time with, getting connected, not only here in Kansas City, but also around the country. And so that's really what I focus my time on. I tried to do the social media thing years ago, and just feeding the beast burned me out. Like doing the videos, post, even when I had help, it was still just the content, the constant generation of content. I wanted it up eating broken glass before I did anything more, before I did another video or anything else. So it just wore me out.
I think you could be a TikTok star.
Hey, Frank, my parents, sidebar, when my brother announced that the first grandchild was going to be born, the first thing that came out of my mother's mouth is that she said, once you have kids, your time and your money are no longer your own.
That is true.
And I'm like, well, that's rather interesting for mom to say that the first thing. Like, not I'm happy or anything. It's like, huh.
Well, I told my kids, Kyle, not to have any, but they didn't listen.
I don't have any.
Don't start.
I have enough problem taking care of myself.
No, it's
Means you have more income than all of us. So
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got about 15 minutes left, so we'll just do a couple minutes on this answer. But first of all, how is it the last day of January already? I do not understand what's going on with time. I'm like in a time lapse here. But we are a 12th of the way through the year. So, Jennifer, I want to talk about your 2023 goals. Just a month ago, we were all saying this is what we're going to do. So, how are your goals going, and how are you going to make sure that you accomplish those with only 11 months left?
I actually went into this year uniquely with sort of my travel and business plan in place, a few tweaks, but I feel like most years I'm exceptionally scattered between by the time I fit all the work stuff in, making sure I've carved out the family time. But I actually feel like planning out the work year and having the luxury of doing that this year has allowed me to get in that family time. So my goal is actually to make sure the last couple of years it's been pretty chaotic for them, and they've been very patient. So my goal this year, certainly I have a sales number that's both required and also a goal to hit for work. And I have the personal, professional goals, and really balancing that with the family time this year. I don't have kids, but I have a 5 and 8-year-old nephew and niece. And so the years are ticking by quickly, and they still think I'm awesome. So I want to capitalize on that.
Listen, that I don't know how your bank account's set up, but this is TikTok term. That rich auntie spot is the spot to be in, they say. Right? You're gonna come through, you're gonna be cool, and you're gonna leave.
Well, someone introduced my nephew to a Pokemon professor in Kansas City. And so now my Connecticut-based nephew FaceTimes with a Pokemon professor in Kansas City GameStop. That's what it's called, right? Or level 1. There's a level 1 in Marketplace. Yeah. So down there, his name is John or Jonathan, very nice gentleman. And so they pick out his Pokemon cards, and then my nephew kicks me back to Kansas City to pick them up.
Oh, yeah, you're super cool, Amber.
Yeah, my niece isn't there yet, but so I thank the person who made that introduction, because that's been phenomenal. And it just shows that, my nephew loves Kansas City too, and he's never been there. So,
I like it. All right, Tara, how about you and your goals?
Gosh, the year is, trucking right along. And I have to say that I'm feeling 2023. It's been good. As a keynote speaker, the pandemic it really took a toll on my business. There weren't any live events to go speak at. So it was a great time to transition and to figure out different ways of media. I did publish 2 books, which was great. But obviously my goal this year is just to get on as many stages and in front of as many people to inspire them to go all in on themselves and be who they came to be, while still staying really focused on the power of one, and which is that, hey, if we can change one life, then that's going to change another and another. So I'm doing all that. I have a high schooler and a middle schooler now. So I have to tell you, I didn't really love high school when I was in high school, but now that I have a son in high school, I love high school. He goes to St. Thomas Aquinas, which I just think is just an awesome school. We're absolutely loving it. So spending a lot of time with my boys. And the one thing I did at the first of the year is I decided to cut excess spending and just be really mindful. When we're on social, we're constantly being sold and fed all these things like, buy this, get this, you need this little gadget. And I found myself just like purchasing silly things that I didn't really need. So that's been my New Year's resolution. And I'm really proud to say that I haven't made any ridiculous Instagram purchases the entire month of January, and continue and plan to continue that no excess for the rest of the year.
I just got these in the mail today, Tara. How do you feel about these? Wrap your
What
hair
are
in
those?
them. You're supposed to look like a model afterwards.
Oh, yes. Now, I have to tell you, I did a funny reel on the Stanley Cup, which is what everyone's carrying. And that I didn't have one, but if I got one, I'd be popular. I don't know if you've seen that one. And someone actually sent this to me as a gift. They said, you need this. That's how much they believe in this mug that has gone viral. So
you're letting others spend on you. I like that.
You can send me gifts. I just can't buy gifts for myself.
Wait, Tara,
okay?
the company sent you a gift because you're an influencer?
Somebody.
Someone who follows me sent me a Stanley Cup.
My family always said, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. It sounds like the company sent it to you because you're an influencer.
Okay, well, Stanley, you can feel free to sponsor me and send me more cups. They're $50 a cup. I'd gladly take free ones.
Scott, you just said your family always said, don't let facts get in the way of a good story.
My dad said, the Havens family, we're not going to burn the doors down with our intelligence, but they'll invite us to their lake house because we're funny and entertaining. And then he said, don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Amanda says my hair thing's going to be awesome. It was an Instagram ad.
I've seen that.
Thank you,
And
Amanda.
you look like a Goldilocks with your hair wrapped up around it. I've seen the influencers do it. I haven't purchased it yet. You let me know how it goes.
All right, Frank, how about you and your goals?
Yeah, my goals are pretty pedantic. One is we're working on a strategic plan for the agency to do a 9-month project. That we have this really fantastic firm doing it for us. And my stuff just, making sure the ridership is going where it needs to go, that the system is performing as it is. We're at 95% of pre-pandemic levels, so we're trending in the right direction. So that and all the fun stuff of doing all the organizational efficiencies and looking for redundancies and all the fun things you do in corporations. So that's mine. I did not get the memo about not spending money, Tara. Or at least my wife didn't get it, but so we're not going simple on that thing. But I am trying to travel more, or going to try to take what I call like mini vacations every month. Take a long weekend, just kind of get away for some stuff. So that's why. And then just try to, if you want to give me gifts, I'm partial to really good bourbons and cigars. So I seem to find every week there's really a bottle on my desk, and I don't know who's giving these to me. So I got a bottle of Eagle Rare 10-year last week, Woodford Reserve Double Oak the week before. So I don't know what's going on, but I'll take it. So
I'll take bourbon, wine, anything in the Stanley Cup as well. Just to plug myself for free.
Paul said, Frank is the man. He was right behind me in Centurions, and he was killer presenting the KCIC last week.
Thank you, Paul. That was like at 7:30 in the morning. And I was like, and I'd gotten in like at 10 o'clock from another event. And so I was like, man, I got to bring it because they had great questions. And so it was, it was a great group. So I had not been drinking bourbon, and I will confess, I just went to bed late and I'm old and I need my sleep now.
Kyle, how about you? How about your goals?
Business-wise, one new client a month. And then personally, it's I've got 3 really fantastic trips on the books for this year. Arizona with my sisters and some friends in April, Hawaii with a close friend from high school and her husband and family in June, and probably going back to Mexico in November with my sisters. It's a trip the 3 of us take over Thanksgiving, and they're my 2 favorite people in the world, and we just travel really well together. Love them dearly.
Fun. I like that you have all your vacations planned out like that, Kyle. You and Jennifer are planners this year.
It's rare,
Kyle.
It's rare. It's rare, Aaron. It's usually at the end of the year. It's like, wait a minute, I haven't taken any time.
All I have on my calendar is with Jennifer and then to see Usher in April in Vegas because
that's awesome.
Drank a little too much at the Casey Can Gala and bought that. So go see Usher. All right, Scott, you've got everybody has less than a minute to answer Scott's question. This is my least favorite part of the show. Scott, don't do anything deep. We don't have enough time about that.
Going deep, this panel can handle it. So at the end of the year, a lot of us that work 24/7, everyone else is starting to work. So you get everyone's best shot in January. So a lot of us are probably a little tired and worked really hard so far this year. I think everyone can agree. Jennifer and everyone else, you can't say family, but what motivates you to keep working more when you feel like you're a little run down? What keeps you going and you can't say family?
I would say actually my colleagues and my colleagues and my clients, everybody's such hard driving entrepreneurs and such great ideas. And that everything is a competitive environment and this is a weird year already. And so you need to spin fastest and hardest and work smart. But I'm a competitive person and hopefully a good way. And so I get up in the morning because there was there was a quote at one point that, if you're not working 24/7, there's somebody else working to take it away from you, whatever you're doing. And now I'll remember after this who was, but in any case, I always feel really inspired to help people succeed. And again, I feel like I'm surrounded by great people and I don't want to be the weak link. So.
Tara, what motivates you to keep going and working hard?
I always just try to stay really focused on if what I'm doing is fulfilling and if it's fulfilling to me. And I find that when I'm focused on really on what's fulfilling. I show up, I do the hard work, I put in the time versus, chasing little bits of happiness and short-term transactional things, really staying focused on what's fulfilling, living transformationally, and just showing up every day.
Frank, what keeps you going?
For me, it's the fact that I now am responsible for 637 people and their families every day, and they depend on me making the right decisions. So I always keep that with me. So I just keep going. So whenever I feel
You said other people's families. That was like almost cheating.
well, they're not
No,
mine.
that makes sense. But you have other people that rely on you.
A lot. 600. How many?
637 employees.
That's a lot.
And so all they need to know is every other Thursday check's going to clear and their life goes on. So I've got to make sure that nothing affects that. So whenever I feel like I want to go to bed or I don't want to do nothing, I just remember these people depend on me to make the right decisions. So I keep going.
Like that. Follow that up, Kyle.
Sounds like a business owner. Every business owner I talk to.
Well, he's right.
Yeah, that personal responsibility to your employees and the people who work for you. That's why I like working with business owners. But anyway, for me, when I'm feeling out of whack, I go back to my personal core values: growth, relationships, service, and work. Work being how I kind of organize and live my life and what's important to me. And so that's what I go back to, and that's where I get my energy from. So if I feel like I'm waning, I just ask my question: am I aligned with my personal core values?
What about you, Scott?
So I have on my I had to type on my to-do list to drink with Frank because I got to go to the Lead Summit. But as the show is winding up,
can I smoke there?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, well, never mind. I can't say it on there, but absolutely. The in general, my partners. I mean, Aaron, you're a partner of mine. Jennifer's a partner of mine. And so in general, your partners, I guess I'm cheating off Jennifer. I don't want to let my partners down. Aaron, what about you? What motivates you?
You guys are all so serious. I absolutely hate cleaning my house, and I could never not afford not to have a housekeeper again. So, every time that I start, I'm like, no, I have to. For Carter. I'd really like her to come more often. So, and all the other stuff you guys said, but I have to be the funny one because it's my past trauma. Okay, well, thank you guys so much. What an incredible panel. If you're watching the show, what
is the bar that you went to, the sports bar? We should host a show.
Yeah, I want to go there.
We should host
it
remotely.
Fun. If we hosted a show there, that would blow my mind.
Let's book it. I think
it's a gay sports bar, and it is so fun. And Amanda says, but seriously, everybody would come.
I'm in.
Live audience.
All right, let's do it. Cool. It sounds like Kyle has the hookup.
Hey, hit me up. I'll talk to Derek.
Yeah. All right, Aaron, I interrupted you. I'm so sorry. I thought it was a brilliant idea when you kind of like that place rocks. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah, because I was like, what's this bar I've never heard of, right? You kind of go in with like low expectations if you haven't heard, if it's not everywhere on social media. And then it was so fun. Okay, anyways, thank you so much to our incredible panel. All of these people are tagged over here on LinkedIn. So if you're on Facebook, go to LinkedIn, connect with them, follow them. Tara, we'll throw your links into LinkedIn there so you can take everyone can take the, what's the word I'm looking for?
The link to buy the book?
The saboteur assessment.
The assessment. Thank you so much to Bacon Blue Valley and Burns and McDonnell for sponsoring. We will be back here next week. Next week is our CEO show. We have Matt Watson, who has sold all of the businesses. He always sells all the businesses. He will be on this show next week. We will see you same time, same place. Have a wonderful and fantastic weekend and enjoy our bye week because we're going to the Super Bowl.
Take care, everybody.